Hey, everybody, this is Jim Horn, and this is another edition of Traverse Talks. And today we're talking about the new Grand Traverse County Board guidelines and the new ethics policy. It was adopted today, April 26, 2025. I thought we'd go over some of the finer points of the policy and then let you listen to the last 5 minutes of the board meeting. It was somewhat interesting, and it sort of clarified a couple of things. Anyway, for those that haven't been following this, why don't I give you a little bit of background and context? They wanted to update the Code of Ethics, and that was because of a February 26th study session that said, hey, we really got to do something here. The revised policy applies to county commissioners, elected officials, board appointees, and employees. And the goal here was to strengthen accountability, transparency, and public trust. So key principles in the new code: number one, act in the public interest. Prioritize the common good over personal gain. Next, avoid conflicts of interest. Financial or personal interest must be disclosed and recused. Respect diversity and fairness. Treat all individuals equitably regardless of background. Limit gifts and influence. Bans on accepting gifts except in narrow, defined exceptions. Next, what officials are prohibited from doing? Number one, using confidential information for personal gain. Next, participating in decisions where they or close family business partners have a stake. Engaging in employment that creates a conflict with county duties. And finally, misusing county resources, funds, or property. The next major category, oversight and reporting. First on that list, unethical conduct can be reported by anyone. Complaints go to HR or the county administrator. If internal review presents a conflict, an ethics panel may be appointed. Complainants get notice of the outcome and can appeal to the board chair within 21 days. Next major category is enforcement and penalties. Possible consequences: censure, removal, or termination, depending on the role and the severity. And I might make a point there. You can't terminate or remove a commissioner. That can only be done through the recall process. That's a state statute. I think that refers to employees. You certainly can censure a commissioner if needed. Next is frivolous or malicious complaints are also subject to disciplinary action. Next major category, implementation and outgoing or ongoing ethics culture. Going to be an annual ethics affirmations required for the commissioners. Next is a policy included in onboarding and orientation processes for all officials and employees. And that's aimed at fostering a self-enforcing culture of ethical conduct in county governance. I would say that's pretty much the essence of the new policy. Let's listen to the county commissioners here with their discussion during the county board meeting today.
10B, the revised ethics policy. A little background on this real quick. February, we had a study session and a meeting before that where we had some direction. Our civil counsel responded on the 6th of March, and you have this before you with a couple of options. And I'm going to go right ahead, and I'm making a motion that we approve the ethics policy as presented in option A. And for the record, when I can find it, Option A will be the chairperson of the Board of Commissioners or the vice chairperson. If the complaint involves the chairperson, shall appoint a chairperson and 2 additional members to an ethics panel. The members of the ethics panel may be a member of the Board of Commissioners, an employee of the county, or any other suitable person. In naming members of the panel, the chairperson of the Board of Commissioners shall consider the nature of the complaint and the identity of the person or persons complained of, and shall endeavor to select persons in a position to render independent, informed, and considered judgment. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right. So that was Commissioner Spence. All right. So we have a motion by Seifert, a second by Commissioner Spence. Comments, questions, concerns? Commissioner Walter.
I'm okay. I'm not going to die on this hill of whether it's a standing panel or not. I'm okay. I'd prefer a standing panel, so it's a little less potential for bias. And yet, I think this proposed policy is better than what we got. So I'm happy to see some improvement. It's not perfect. And so I'd vote in favor of it, even though I'd prefer a standing panel.
Thank you. Anyone else? Comments, questions, concerns? Commissioner Morris.
I would echo those sentiments. I also believe that a standing panel might reduce the possibility of bias. But again, I wouldn't die on that hill either.
I'd like to respond to that, if you don't mind. I thought about that, and I agree with that. But my concern is that, so let's say I'm the person that's the nature of the complaint, but I'm the one that help appoint the standing panel. So therefore, by the very nature of the oversight, we'd have to approve another panel. And I don't like doing things a couple of times. I think it's a waste of the taxpayers' time and their money.
Why would you have to approve a different one? I'm not following.
Because if I'm in part of the approving process of the standing panel and I'm the subject of the investigation, there's conflict of interest.
Are you anticipating causing trouble?
I can neither confirm or deny that, Commissioner Morris. And again, this is why you sit over there.
But so you're saying, okay, let's see.
I'm willing to be the sacrificial lamb.
I'm just gonna continue going down that road. So, so there's not a standing panel. Something comes up, you're the focus of the investigation or whatever complaint.
Sure.
And our board still has to approve a panel. Would you then not vote on it?
Well, that would be the subject time. But as I was talking earlier, off the air, there are 9 commissioners on this board. So if I'm the subject of the investigation, I have 8 commissioners that are my oversight. You know what I mean?
And also it's the option A says the chair appoints unless it involves the chair, in which case the vice chair appoints. So it's not a board decision under either option A or B.
So even the appointment wouldn't come to the full board? We wouldn't have a say? So I don't like that, because that also opens it up to bias if you're going to appoint somebody and then none of us then have a chance. I mean, I would probably be okay with it. But
that's
any vice chair, then none of us would have a say in who's on that panel.
So I think I would argue, and if our attorney is available, he will undoubtedly correct me if I'm wrong. Our board rules allow the board to overturn a decision of the chair by vote of the board. So I expect that would be triggered if this. So let's say let's just hypothetically, right?
Yeah.
Commissioner Chair Seifert is the subject. There's a complaint. I appoint, whoever, anyone on this board thinks that was inappropriate. This board can then say, I move to overturn, or I appeal the decision of the board. And if at least a majority of those who are voting, we've never done this, but it's in our bylaws. If a majority say, yeah, we should appeal it, then you can.
But it's not a decision of the board that we're appealing, because the board.
No, it's a decision of it's a decision of the vice chair who's acting as the chair.
Let's confirm that that's okay with Matt, because it's not a decision of the board at that point that we're overturning.
No, decisions of the chair can be overturned by a vote of the board. So any decision of the chair. So let's say the chair voted to stop public comment, and our board wanted to hear that public commenter. We can always vote to appeal and overturn a decision of the chair.
There you have it. That was the discussion, and then the vote followed. And so it's done. We now have a new ethics policy for Grand Traverse County. Hey, folks, this is Jim Horn. This is Traverse City. Have yourself a great day.